I flew my first plane when I was 9 years old. It was this little guy called the Champ. I still remember how much fun I had just flying it around little parks. And every day I'd ask my dad to take me out to go fly it. It was tough to fly when the winds picked up, and I crashed a million times. But I loved taking off, just flying it around and trying to land as smoothly as possible. My love for aviation has only continued to grow since those days. Hi, my name is Lindstrom, and I'm applying for the Upwind Scholarship of 2021. When I was 11, I had the chance to fly my first general aviation airplane through the Young Eagles program. This was in a Glass Air Glass Star, and this flight changed my life. I remember that flight clearly to this day. With the roaring of the engine and the airspeed coming alive, that flight gave me an exhilaration like no other. It was amazing, seeing everything fall far below me. Flying over the mountains by Half Bay, I could feel the turbulence from the uneven terrain, and I could see places from a whole new perspective. This is what got me hooked into aviation. From up there, I felt like the sky was the limit, and from that day on, I knew for sure that I wanted to be a pilot. Instead of focusing on general aviation flying, which I was a bit too young for at the time, I decided to focus more on my radio-controlled aircraft fleet. In Christmas, I got my first decently sized aircraft, the F-40 Corsair. Unlike the Champ, this plane could actually handle more than a slight breeze, and on top of that, it had aileron controls, so I could do different maneuvers now. Later on, I experimented with flight test, where you got kits made out of foam board, and this was a very cheap way of getting into the hobby. Later on, I also experimented with building my own designs out of foam board. I experimented building pushers, pullers, high wings, low wings. This whole hobby taught me about different flight characteristics of different aircraft, and just about aircraft in general. I wanted to share my passion for aviation, and I wanted to find others who shared the same enthusiasm. So when I was 12 years old, I learned there was a volunteering opportunity at Hiller Aviation Museum. I helped inspire kids to have a passion towards aviation through making paper airplanes, putting toys through wind tunnels, and more. I also got to listen to other docents' stories on aviation, and I gained more insight through them. During my time at Hiller, I got an opportunity to work at San Carlos Flight Center from one of the volunteers working at the flight sims, Brandon Dadun. He has been into planes probably longer than I have, but I was amazed by this offer, and I immediately took it up. When I came to work there, I was working on cleaning the interiors and exteriors of the whole fleet aircraft San Carlos Flight Center offered, and I got lots of joy from this job. Through this exposure of being hands-on with aircraft, I got to learn more about them, the location of the controls and switches, the bodywork of the planes, and how some of the mechanics worked. I love coming to work for San Carlos Flight Center. In the mornings, the field is nice and calm, and you can see birds flying across once in a while. And in the middle of the day, you could see plenty of planes just flying the pattern, landing, or departing. This is just fun because sometimes you can see some rare and exotic planes flying. And I just loved trying to memorize all the planes of the field. This job gave me an in-person experience of the day-to-day life of an airport and helped me learn more about aircraft. Once I've decided to achieve a goal, I do everything I can to make sure I have a successful outcome. This year, I'm taking Pre-Calculus Honors. This class is probably the toughest class of the year. It requires you to do your own research on some problems, and you have to learn and retain knowledge which you receive in class each and every day. At some points, I can get stuck, but I always persevere, and I can always push forward until I solve the problem I'm on. I know that going through the ground school may be tough, but I feel I have the skills necessary to push through and succeed. The Upwinds program is an incredible opportunity. It would be a dream come true for me. With the skills, knowledge, and license I receive from this program, I believe this would really jumpstart my plans into becoming a commercial or charting pilot in the aviation industry. Thank you so much for creating and continuing to support the Upwinds program, and thank you so much for considering my application.